In 2017, scientists detected something utterly unlike anything they had ever seen before. A bizarre, elongated object came into our solar system at astounding velocity, traveling from the huge unknown of interstellar space. At first thought to be a comet or an asteroid, this object soon proved to be something entirely different. It had no visible tail, exhibited no outgassing, and, most mystifying of all, it started accelerating in a manner that couldn't be explained by any natural forces. A few scientists, including distinguished Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb, proposed something audacious. The object could be of artificial origin, perhaps an extraterrestrial probe that had been sent to scout out our solar system. The enigma was only heightened when the object, dubbed Oumuamua, simply disappeared into the far reaches of space, with more questions than answers left behind. But then something even more amazing occurred. Oumuamua came back. And this time it came in company. Elon Musk has called the event the most significant find in human history. Scientists are scrambling to make sense of what they're seeing. Several new objects, remarkably like Oumuamua, are entering our solar system. They're moving in ways that should be physically impossible, with the same ghostly absence of a tail and the same mysterious acceleration. What are these things? Where did they come from? And what in the world do they want? When Oumuamua first emerged, astronomers immediately knew it didn't fit any observed category of comet or asteroid. It was an elongated, slender, and uncommonly reflective object. The most baffling aspect was that it accelerated as it moved away from the sun. Something comets do because they shed gas, but Oumuamua shed nothing. Theories floated from it being part of a broken-up planet to an alien sun-powered light sail. Before researchers could deploy a probe or catch a better glimpse, though, it disappeared. For years, scientists thought that was their sole opportunity to research such a phenomenon. But in a surprising turn of events, another object recently entered the solar system, traveling almost exactly along the same trajectory as Oumuamua. Then more showed up, each exhibiting the same strange behavior. The isolated enigma had become a trend. As additional data arrived, scientists were amazed. These new objects had the same elongated shape, no outgassing, and sped up just like Oumuamua. But a key difference distinguished them: they weren't solitary. At least two were observed moving in what appeared to be a coordinated pattern, not like loose space rocks floating in the emptiness. That left a haunting question. Was Oumuamua ever alone? Might it have been part of something much larger? And if these objects are related, what is their purpose? Elon Musk chimed in again and said maybe we are witnessing a brand new natural phenomenon, or possibly something much more disturbing. Space agencies and private aerospace firms were not slow to react. This time around, unlike in 2017, humanity was prepared. NASA, ESA, SpaceX, Blue Origin, and others started planning missions to intercept the objects before they evaded capture by disappearing into the vastness of deep space. NASA suggested sending a probe with available technology. China's Space Administration revealed its own plans for an interception, while the European Space Agency considered repurposing a current vessel. A new space race was being waged, but one that had an even higher risk. For the first time in history, the international scientific community was unanimous. These were no ordinary space rocks, and they were running out of time. Other scientists started considering a grim possibility. Suppose these aren't objects of nature, either? If they aren't comets, asteroids, or remnants of some ancient smash-up, what are they? Could they be probes, machines launched by a foreign intelligence ages ago, perhaps as part of some giant surveillance network? Consider Voyager 1 and 2, our own bottle messages, sent into space to inform others of Earth. What if another civilization did the same 1,000,000 years ago? Might Oumuamua and its friends be observing us? And more frighteningly, answering us? As scientists tracked the newcomers, they saw something peculiar. Unlike asteroids and comets, which are governed by gravitational rules, these objects were shifting course ever so slightly, but on purpose. Initially, scientists attributed the observations to error. But successive measurements confirmed it. The objects were accelerating and slowing down in ways nature couldn't account for. It was scanned by deep space radar, and one object even changed direction. The change was small but actual. Why would random space junk react to being seen? Musk's suspicions increased. If these are artificial, we're possibly seeing technology well beyond anything human ingenuity has produced. And if they're natural, they contradict everything we understand about how the universe operates. But then there was the most terrifying prospect of all. What if these objects aren't merely passing through? What if they have a destination? New trajectory calculations revealed something odd. As Oumuamua left the solar system, one of the new objects seemed to be heading inward, toward the inner solar system, toward Earth. For natural space debris, movement is governed by gravity and momentum. Steering suggests purpose. Was this object actively moving, or reacting to unseen gravitational forces? If it was coming towards us, the stakes were enormous. Intelligence agencies and governments noticed. Telescopes were relocated. Satellites were assigned to collect more information. In the background, meetings were conducted, but no one had answers. And yet the objects continued to move closer. Behind closed doors, space agencies discussed what to do next. Musk, Bezos, and other private executives were invited to the discussion. Some officials advocated for missions to intercept and examine the objects immediately. Others cautioned that any move could invite a response. If these visitors were something more than rocks. Why the secrecy? Why intelligence agencies? Theories ranged from national security concerns to a notion that humans were experiencing an incomprehensible technology. And in the heat of urgency, one question became prominent. What if these things aren't crossing through at all? What if they're here for something? Some researchers started drawing lines, referencing unexplained bursts of fast radio, strange meteors, even ancient descriptions of unidentified objects in the sky. What if they were not isolated? What if they were all part of an even bigger narrative? One theory was very bold. Maybe these objects are a message or warning from a much more advanced civilization. Others theorized about a more sinister motive. Spying, or even prep for something more overt. Regardless of what the reality is, one thing is certain. This is no longer merely an astronomical oddity. It's a moment of reckoning. For the first time in the history of human civilization, the best brains in the world are observing the same enigma evolve. The reemergence of Oumuamua was puzzling enough. But the presence of other similar objects, acting in inexplicable ways, revolutionizes everything. Are they a natural phenomenon or man-made messengers? The question is really, why are they here? If this is a cosmic anomaly, it's one of the most remarkable on record. But if we're being observed, visited, even contacted by some entity outside our planet, then we might be on the edge of a revelation that transforms the way we view life and the universe forevermore. Elon Musk thinks that this might be the most significant find in the history of humans. Governments, space agencies, and private innovators are all competing against the clock to reveal the truth. But if these objects are smart or linked to something that is, are we prepared for what is to come? Now we leave it to you. What do you believe these enigmatic visitors truly are? A bizarre anomaly of nature, or evidence that we're not alone in the universe? Let us know your opinions in the comments. And if you'd like to remain current with the most astounding space discoveries, be sure to subscribe and enable notifications so you never miss our next in-depth investigation.